Welcome into Dumb Drafts, the show where we believe that everything is worth drafting. We're back on a long hiatus, if for no other reason than to make sure that the show didn't get canceled after the appearance of Eitan Shander. I'm Russ Joy at Joy on Broad, joined by three of CrossingBroad.com's most notorious contributors. Of course, we'll start off with the machine himself, Kevin Kincaid, who you can find on Twitter at Kevin_Kincaid. Kevin, how have you been doing in this long absence?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you in Philadelphia, as Scott Pelley used to say when I worked at Eyewitness News. And I'm just looking forward to the hopefully the dumbest draft of all time.
I didn't know that you worked in TV. Do you ever win an Emmy or anything? Let's go to the next man up. You know him lovingly as Uncle Coggin, the Coggin Toboggan. How we doing?
Russell, thank you again for having me on a very, very dumb draft. This one is very appealing to me since there was so little research that had to be done for this. It was perfect, and can't wait for it to be the dumbest draft ever.
Speaking of a man who would have done research on this show, of course, it's none other than Coach Andy Reid. Andy, how are you?
Well, hello, everybody. I'm really honored to be a part of this. I have a lot of history with dumb drafts. We picked Danny Watkins first overall. I was in charge of that particular fiasco. So dumb drafts is really right down my alley. And of course, I used to call me Candy Andy as a kid. I don't know why they did that, but I got past it. And I'm very much looking forward to this. Time's yours.
You're the tastiest candy apple I've ever seen.
We look forward to the challenge of having the dumbest draft ever.
So for those of you who are, of course, listening to this and aren't being treated to the visual medium, that, of course, is Phil Keidel, who's now taken over as the Sixers betting preview writer. So that's always an exciting thing. Phil, is that
I turned this into basically a medium extra large, if you will. A visual extra large.
There you go. So today we're drafting the best Halloween candy. Of course, the confectionery holiday is upon us. It'll be here in a few days. And so we figured that we would draft our favorite candy. Now, there are a few rules, as there always are rules here at Dumb Drafts, because we take this very seriously. Each competitor will have 5 picks in this draft. There are no restrictions on what can be drafted in each round, but there are no repeats allowed. That is really the only rule. Each person has to take 2 candy bars, 1 sweet candy, which is not chocolate-based, 1 multi-piece candy, and then there's 1 wild card. That can be anything. That could be another treat that's handed out on Halloween, or it could be one of the other 3 categories. Again, critical to note, no repeats are allowed. With that, I've already put everything into the wheel, so as not to waste time, we start off this draft with Coggin.
Well, oh my God, this sounds terrible. It was a very close call at first overall pick, and it was either wax lips or this candy that I have selected, and that could be none other than the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Nothing better than a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Easy. I mean, if you have a peanut allergy, you don't know what you're missing out on. It'd be worth going into anaphylactic shock to have one of these. But the Peanut Butter Cup is king, and it remains king. And that was an easy number 1 pick.
Guys, just out of curiosity, if you had been in Coggin's spot, would you have also taken the Peanut Butter Cup? Don't tell me what you would have picked if it had been something else, but it's a pretty easy number 1 overall pick, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, the Reese's Cup is the Trevor Lawrence of this draft, I believe. Nobody's going to fault you for it, even if Urban Meyer is the one consuming it.
Easy to overthink a number 1 pick, but I think that is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great pick.
This isn't the Hurricane Schwartz of dumb draft picks, is what you're saying.
Not at all.
All right, we now move on to Phil, who has the number 2 pick. Phil, were you planning on taking the Peanut Butter Cup?
I was not. My first round pick is uniquely my own. It's going to be a reach, and frankly, I don't care. It's my favorite candy. It's the one that when it shows up in the bag that my children come back with trick-or-treating from, invariably disappears within 24 to 36 hours of Halloween being over. This candy has literally no chance in my house. It is the peanut butter Snickers patty in the yellow wrapper.
Interesting. I don't even know if I've ever
Snickers
had one
patty.
of those. Sounds good.
Is
Anything
that
with peanut butter is good.
Is that a bastardization of the peanut butter cup? Is that too similar? I think we'll keep it. We'll
They
allow
need a
it. So that's going to
ruling.
count.
Yeah.
That'll
think
count
that's
as a
good.
bar, I guess, right? We'll count that as a bar.
You
Yeah.
could give me the entire Snickers family if you wish. It's much more of a bastardization of the Snicker bar than it is of the Reese's cup because they're made by different companies, I believe.
Okay. So that then leads us to Kevin, who's got the third pick in the first round.
Well, listen, yesterday I dropped another installment of the critically acclaimed and award-winning 50 Hot Takes column. The feedback was tremendous, believe me. And, one of the takes I had in it, the best Halloween candy was the Kitkat bar. And so I would be a hypocrite if I wrote that in the much heralded column, but I didn't follow through on dumb drafts. So with the third overall pick, we're not going with Trey Lance. We're going with the Kitkat.
I'll admit that I'm upset. I'm upset by that pick. It's a good one.
Were you hoping it fell to you at number 4?
I was. I was very hopeful that the Kit Kat bar was going to make its way there, which now makes me reassess a few things. And I can tell you right now that despite the fact that people love Snickers bars, I will not be taking a Snickers bar here. So you guys can load up on that if you so choose.
Well, you do have two picks.
I'm going to go with
D's.
with one that I think makes a lot of sense here, and one that I don't think you see enough people handing out. I'm going to go with the Twix Bar. Twix is a fantastic candy. One of the few that offers creamy caramel or caramel, whichever way you want to go.
Yeah.
And I think it's incomparable value here. I'm actually pretty thrilled that it's here. I will say that I have a locked and loaded knockout punch that I could issue here. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to play the long game here. I'm going to see if it works out. I'm going to go with I'm going to take the multi-piece off the board right now. The number 1 multi-piece, and it's not close.
Should we go over the first round picks before you dive into the second round?
We certainly could. Yes, we can. Coggin with the first overall pick took the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Phil took the peanut butter Snickers patty. Kevin had the Kit Kat, and I took the Twix. Now, this is a little bit tricky, right? Because venturing away from the bars, I am leaving myself exposed, but I'm pretty sure that one of my picks is going to be there, so I'm okay. I'm going to take the best multi-piece candy that we have off the board right now. It might be controversial. I don't think it should be.
It's a bold claim.
I'm going to take the M&ms. I want the M&ms, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I kind of feel like M&ms is going to be all-encompassing unless you think I need to specify which kind of M&ms, but
I think it's
I'll
a reach. I think you're drafting for need here when the best overall available would have been a better selection for you. I think you overthought this selection of M&ms.
Mm-hmm. You're drafting
your fake news, but okay.
You're drafting the high
Yeah.
tight end instead of the stud tackle. You're trying to go for the sexy pick here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd say that M&M, since there are like 9,000 varieties of M&Ms, I'm not sure just M&Ms is all encompassing.
Yeah.
I think you gotta specifically decree here and now which M&Ms you're picking.
It's like Penei Sewell was on the board, but you had to go and take Jalen Reagor.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You overthought it.
yeah.
I don't think I did. I think the M&Ms should be all-encompassing. I do. There are multiple varieties of Skittles. I think if somebody wants to go with Skittles, they just get Skittles. Do we really have to specify tropical versus wild berry? I based on the fact that we only need one.
There are two very popular and distinct varieties of M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
The plain and the peanut. I think those are two distinct enough that you could split either of those two varieties into two separate picks.
Yeah, but anything beyond that gets a little fugazi.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. See, I personally like the crispy ones the best, but I'm not going to draft those because I don't think they have the widespread appeal that.
All right.
So I think for the sake of the allergy people, if I had to, I would go with plain. But I do believe that this should be able to stand on its own as all M&Ms.
Okay.
Well, listen.
All right. For the sake of brevity.
I'm the Minnesota Vikings war room right now during COVID, and I'm laughing
Mhm.
because I didn't think this was going to be available, and so I'm calling the assistant over here. I'm saying getting Justin Jefferson on the phone right now, But in this case, Justin Jefferson is regular Snickers, the fun size Snickers. And here's the thing, I this is something that bothers me, so I'll throw it to you guys. Why do they call it fun size? Because the regular size is fun too,
It's
Oh,
true.
so
Like
to be
they're
clear, you're going, is this your multi-piece? Is that what you're trying to
no.
qualify? No. Okay. So fun size is your, okay, got it.
Well, yeah, it's just that's not
Because it's
really.
just a
It's
smaller
still a
version. Okay.
bar. It's just a smaller
Yeah.
bar. So regular
Okay.
Snickers, I'm going with since you left it on the board. Yeah, that's like Ross. That's bad, man. That is like
It's not.
you
I think
know
the Snickers bar is one of the most overrated candies in
no. That's
existence.
you
Hmm.
basically drafted Jalen Hurts when Jeremy Chin was still there. Logan Wilson was still there. A bunch of dudes in the second round. I think it's a pick you're gonna regret, and so I'm gonna take regular Snickers off the board
Wow. It's a good pick.
outright.
Which then takes us to Phil.
Well, as usual, in a coaching mindset, you think about the ability to move players in different positions. You like to fill as many slots as you can with the few picks that you have. Quality is on the board; it doesn't last, and you need that kind of positional flexibility. And so, with the second pick, I will be taking Sour Patch Kids. That can
Mm.
either
Ooh,
be a
that's a good
multi-piece
one.
or a
That's a
Hmm.
good
sweet
one.
chocolate. And I will even add in the fact that one of the great joys of eating Sour Patch Kids every year is throwing the blue ones away before we even start.
Now that I agree with. We used to sneak them into the Oaks movie theater when we were kids. You'd go to Target and you'd put them in your baggy Jenkos. We still wore Jenkos back then. For those of you who are Zoomers, Jenkos were jeans that were really baggy, and you just you like kind of shuffled your way to the movie theater because you didn't want to. You had to pay like a bazillion percent markup, right? So we'd smuggle Sour Patch Kids into the Oaks movie theater.
Very
Which
nice.
then
What was the
takes us.
best? What was the best movie you saw at the Oaks movie theater?
Well, it definitely wasn't the Phantom Menace. I can tell you that much. Fuck that movie, Jesus. We saw some good ones, man. We saw The Matrix there.
Ooh.
Yeah, we saw Lord of the Rings there. Saw a couple Bond movies there. GoldenEye 007, I want to say.
Very nice. That's like the
So
old Echelon movie
yeah,
theater at the Echelon Mall for all my South Jersey peeps out
yeah, yeah. Maybe the next dumb dress we'll do local movie theaters.
there.
I'll take the Oaks,
Right.
Regal, whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry.
All right, Cog, we go to you for the final pick of the second round.
Final pick of the second round, and I'm going to use up my candy bar allotment here that we've set it
Wow.
to. And I am happy that this dropped because I actually prefer this over Snickers. I mean, Snickers has the widespread appeal, but I enjoy this more. And I'm going to select a good old fashioned Milky Way. Love a good
Wow.
Milky
Oh,
Way.
yeah.
Just a
That's a good call.
regular nougat, caramel, chocolate. You cannot go wrong with a good old fashioned Milky Way. Solid ending to the second round.
That's right.
I will
That's pretty
say,
good.
Cog, now that you've selected it, I would have done a slight variation. I would have gone with the dark chocolate Milky
The
Way.
dark. All right, yeah.
Yeah, but
Not bad.
I do respect the pick. I think it's good value here. So to recap, the second round we had I took M&Ms, Kevin took Snickers Fun Size, Phil went with Sour Patch Kids, and Coggin went with the Milky Way. At this point, Coggin has now used up 2 of his bar allotments, which leaves 1 wild card spot in the final round. We want to agree that the wild card just gets moved to the final round? Or yeah, okay.
Sure. And that's
Yeah.
anything.
So-
Can that also
as-
be a bar or just anything?
The wild card, I think we'll
Yeah.
allow a bar for the
Right.
wild card round, so that can
Okay.
be any of the categories. So far, Coggin is now done with his bars. Phil has used up a multi-piece, his only multi-piece, and 1 of his bars. He has 1 bar allotment remaining prior to the wild card round. Kevin has now used up both of his bar allotments, and I have used up 1 bar and 1 multi-piece. So I also have a bar on the docket here. So without further ado, Coggin, go ahead and start round 3.
Okay. So multi-piece is easy to describe here, but the other category is just a sweet candy. Can there be multiple pieces in that also, or does it have to be a singular entity?
No, I would say that like if you have a selection like Sour Patch Kids that counts as both, you still
Okay.
have to. You can't. You have to draft 2 of those, right? You can't just
Gotcha.
have one. You can't kill
Yeah.
2 birds with one candy.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, then I'll use up my multi-piece category
Okay.
at the moment, and this is a candy that I have adored since I was a kid. That would be a good old-fashioned box of Nerds. I love Nerds. There is
I thought-
nothing better than just dumping an entire box of Nerds in your mouth and just crunching away until you get a sweet, sweet sugar high. Love a box of Nerds.
Yeah,
Strawberry,
that's a good under
grape
the radar
Nerds.
pick. Yeah, that's a great pick, man. Nerds.
Even in the small boxes, even in the small boxes, bang for your buck. There'd be like 500 Nerds in like a small, fun-size box.
Yeah, not Revenge of the Nerds.
Well, either way, it's a great movie.
Okay, yeah, not Revenge of the Nerds.
610-632. Phil is up next with the second pick of the 3rd round. Phil, go right ahead.
So far, what we've
I'm
seen
not
over
taking any more of your crap. What up?
Are you done?
What up, Phil?
Are you done?
I think.
What we've seen so far are a lot of candies. Obviously, it's very, very quick satisfaction, but short-lived thrill. You're eating a fun-sized Snickers. It takes you a second and a half. You're eating a little Twix bar. It takes you 2 seconds. You might get through a bag of M&ms in 20 seconds, and it's just instant gratification. But then where are you? You're in a sugar rush and a high. You want more, and yet there's no more to be had. So a 3rd round pick, which I believe also counts as my sweet non-chocolate category, I'm taking the Tootsie Pop, which is something that you can put in your gob for a solid 5, 10, 15 minutes until that lollipop piece melts away, and then you got that caramel in the middle, and you're living the high life. So I'm taking the Tootsie Pop with the 3rd round.
Tootsie Pop. It's a bold pick. I don't know if I would have rated that as a 3rd round.
Tootsie Roll, man. That's also a great song, you know, by the 69 Boys.
Fabulous song.
Tootsie Roll, yeah.
All right, so
Although-
Phil has gone Tootsie Pop. Kevin?
I'm gonna go. Okay, so I got 2 candy bars. I need a sweet and a multi-piece, huh? I can't believe nobody picked this yet. Reese's Pieces, man. Give them to me.
Knew that was coming.
Pretty
Knew
good.
that was coming.
Yeah. Let's keep it simple, man. You know, I'm having a great draft.
That's right. Keep it simple, stupid.
I got a left tackle. I got a right tackle. I got a quarterback. You know, we're building in the trenches. We're only going to the important positions here.
I'm a little bit worried about what I have to do next. I'm going to be honest, because
This is
I've
going to be a
got
classic Russ, like, oh, I pick a chocolate eclair, a homemade chocolate eclair that I had once when I was in 5th grade in Halloween.
I'm looking at the board, and it appears, unless see, there's one guy right now who could cause me harm, and it's Phil.
He's going
And I
pick
have
some
to-
obscure
I have to
shit
watch
that
out.
they ate in Pottsville that nobody's
Now,
ever heard of.
I'm going to
Turkish
I'm gonna
taffy
go
or something. Although Turkish taffy is pretty
I'm
good.
nervous. I'm very nervous about this. Okay. I'm going to take a bar that I don't think gets enough respect, doesn't get enough love. And no, I have to save that one. I think this is all right. I'm going to play this the right way, even though it pains me to do so. For the 3rd round, I'm going to take the underrated Crunch Bar. Crunch Bar.
Good pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
The Crunch Bar gives you everything that you need in this life. It gives you absolutely every mouthfeel that you could use, any mouthfeel you need. I just think it's criminally underrated. And then that brings me, I guess, to I now have to do a sweet pick, which is fine. There are a number of candies that I could go with here. Some of them are ones that I'd be comfortable with. There are probably two here that I'm not totally sold on. Do I go with a personal favorite, or do I go with the one that I think really is the best bang for your buck?
The suspense is killing me.
Really is.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with this.
You pick like Chuckles or something.
I'm gonna take the Haribo gummies. Get gummy bears. You can get
All right.
gummy worms. I mean,
That's
you can,
not bad. You can always
No.
get them at the movie theater, you know?
Those are good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the versatility, and it's a good German company, and so we know that the quality is going to be maintained, and that's what I'm really here for: quality and efficiency. So, listen, I've had a solid draft so far.
The Germans
through
have it in
4 rounds,
spades.
so there you go. So let's go, Kevin.
Yeah.
Based on what we're seeing here, you used up a bar with your first round, a bar with your second round,
Yeah.
and a multi-piece. So now it comes to your sweet pick.
All right. Well, first we have a message from the Cuz.
Very nice.
No, I did.
All right, so that was the Cuz just checking in real quick.
I like the Halloween song in the background there.
Now, listen, I could go. Is this where I go off the board a little bit and kind of make a reach? I feel like I can do a reach now because I made really good picks with my first 3. Listen, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go a little off the board here because I need a fruit. I need a fruit now, something like fruity, not chocolatey.
Cut that audio. Put that audio.
I'm gonna go with everybody would expect me to go Skittles here, but I'm gonna go with Mike and Ike.
Ooh, I love a good box of Mike and Ike's.
Not Mike Barcan and Ike Reese, but the candy Mike and Ike.
I actually like the Jolly Joe offshoot of the Mike and Ike's better, the all grape version.
Oh man, I didn't even know that was the thing.
Oh, there are so many good Mike and Ike variations.
Yeah, I love it.
That's a good pick.
Ike. Yeah.
That takes us over to Phil with his 4th pick.
I'm consulting the clipboard here. It's a very key part of the whole equation here. We take this very seriously. We've kept our picks in line. We know where we're at. And candidly, I was very pleased in the earlier selections when Russ took the Nestle Crunch Bar, which is a fine selection and a good candy, but it's one element short. It's one ingredient. You left the better version of the same candy bar on the table. Shout out to investor Jeff. My pick in the 4th round is the 100 grand bar, which is effectively
That's a good pick
with caramel. And when you consider that I had peanut butter Snickers up top, now I have 2 bars that have very different and complex flavor profiles that can be enjoyed separately or together. It's really up to you.
Phil, I'll admit I had that in my list for wild card contenders. So
I have a 100 grand take. Can I share a 100 grand take?
I wish you would.
Space.
I think 100 grand is kind of like a generational thing. It wasn't really that common or popular like when we were growing up. People who were like millennials, right? I don't even think the Zoomers know what a 100 grand is, But I think like back in the day, it was more popular than it was. And I think evidenced by Phil and investor Jeff both mentioning the 100 grand, I think there may be some validity to my 100 grand take as a generational candy bar.
Well, and you're onto something there, Kevin, because I'm just going to tip my pick in the wild card round. It's going to be the Reggie Bar.
Ooh, interesting.
The what?
The Reggie Bar, the Reggie Jackson.
It's an old one, yeah.
Old school. Russ wasn't even alive.
They don't still make the Reggie Bar, but I'm here to attest to the fact it was excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
When did they rebrand the 100 grand bar? Because it was back in the day the 100,000, wasn't it? It was called the $100,000 bar, and then they shortened it.
Yes,
yeah.
You're correct.
They're trying to save costs on the ink. So
Well, inflation got it. $100,000 sounded like a lot of money in 1973, and now it doesn't.
Yeah. No, it was
Good
it was
point.
a supply chain issue. The guy went on paternity leave.
All right, we now go to Coggin with the final pick of the 4th round.
All right. Well, so we have determined that you can pick a multi-piece selection for your sweet selection, correct?
You can, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna have to take Skittles. I'm very surprised Skittles
Yeah.
fell this far.
Yeah.
That's a
The
good call.
Skittles is just another classic. Just rip the fillings right out of your teeth. Delicious.
That's right. Yeah.
They are great. I ate them
can't
so
have
many.
braces, man.
Oh my! I still ate
What's-
them when I had braces. I didn't care.
What's your favorite iteration of the Skittles? Do you like the regular, the wild berry, the tropical?
Just the original. The tropical's pretty good. You know, I think that's more if you're feeling footloose and fancy free on a particular day. But you can't go wrong with a good original pack of Skittles. Absolutely not.
Okay. All right, so to recap, round 4. Haribo gummies, Mike and Ike's 100 grand Skittles. Here's where we're at right now entering the final round, all right? Because we're about to go into the wild card round where anything is up for grabs. So to recap each person's draft, so far Coggin has taken the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, the Milky Way, Nerds, and now Skittles. Phil had the Peanut Butter Snickers Patty, Sour Patch Kids, Tootsie Pop, and the 100 grand bar. Kevin went with the Kitkat, Snickers Fun Size, Reese's Pieces, and Mike and Ike's. I went with the Twix, M&ms, Crunch Bar, and Haribo gummies. Which now leads us to the 5th round, 5th and final round. Everything is on the table. It could be a multi-piece, can be a sweet, can be a chocolate. There are no limits. By the way, if you choose to go off the well, I think we probably should keep it to candy, but in honor of trick or treat, if there is a trick or treat snack, I guess, that you want to go with, in theory, you could go with it here. But I think there are a lot of great candies still on the board. Like if you want to go with like a bag of pretzels, like that technically is handed out by someone.
You're talking about like maybe like an apple with a razor blade inside
just
of
gonna
it,
make that joke. God damn you, Kevin.
or like an edible. How the news warned you to look out for THC laced brownies, as if a stoner is gonna part with their
stash.
Expensive product. Yeah, here's some edibles. I'm just gonna give them to kids. I mean, come on.
CBD gummies that are masked as Haribo.
The razor blade apple was my favorite. Watch out.
Classic. Got to inspect your candy before you get home. Give me a break with that.
All right, so the 5th and final round. Coggin, you are first up with your wild card selection. Make it count.
All right. I had a couple options here, but let's get nuts with this one. I'm going to kick it off with a very lesser known bar produced by the Hershey Company. That would be the whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit chocolate.
Good pick.
Crisp, and then peanut butter crisp covered with chocolate. It's delicious. One of the best 80s childhood commercials I can recall. You can still find it on YouTube. Check it out. That jingle will still run through my head at least a couple times a month. Fabulous candy bar. Let's get nuts. Let's wrap this all up here.
I like how you said chocolate. That you sounded like
chocolate.
You sound like Fran Drescher in the Nanny. Russ, that was a sitcom.
No, I know who Fran Drescher is. I thought you were going with the chocolate from SpongeBob. Some chocolate would be nice. No,
I don't remember that one.
Wow. All right,
No.
generational thing, I guess. Phil,
Man, it's been on for 25 years. It's not that generational.
Phil, you're up with your wild card pick.
As usual, every time I participate in one of these dumb drafts, we get to the end of the draft and I look at the list and I look at the picks and
I know
look at what's still around and I just shake my head. I feel like there's been no preparation by anyone who came today. There's been no effort. You really did not give the appropriate amount of significant thought about what you were going to do in this game, and I'm very disappointed. With my 5th and final selection, I'm taking Butterfinger. It's not even a question.
100%.
It's
Wow, good one.
candy bar left on the board. It should have gone in the first 2 or 3 rounds. It did not. It is now on my team in the 5th round. Butterfinger. Have
Right.
some of that.
It's like Aaron Rodgers dropping into the 20s. My goodness.
I had that on the list of wild card contenders. I don't even know if I would have taken it with the Mr. Irrelevant pick, but it's there. All right, so Kevin, you're up with your wild card pick.
Well, I was going to take Butterfinger because I didn't want this to be a situation like in our news person's draft where Rick Williams didn't go until 25th overall, and then the people were ripping us on Facebook and Twitter, which is inevitably is what happens with every dumb draft anyway. It's like, how could you not pick X item in this draft? This sucks, you know. But Phil helped us out with Butterfinger there. I'm kind of torn here between two personal favorites. I think this one is a little more popular than the other one, so I'm going to take Baby Ruth.
What was your other pick?
Okay.
Why, you want to steal it from me?
No, because I'm locked into what I have. But
It was Mr. Goodbar.
I wouldn't have gone with that either. Okay, so what made you go with Baby Ruth over Mr.
Peanut
Goodbar?
Chew.
Just personal preference: peanuts, caramel, milk chocolate flavored nougat. Not Ted Nugent, nougat, covered in compound chocolate. So
Is this a personal draft on a stranglehold, Kevin?
Yeah, that's right. The Nuge. Oh, we're talking about the Nuge, the music, just his music, not his political views. But yeah, we'll go with Baby Ruth for my fifth and final selection.
Guys, I know that I have a history for screwing up dumb drafts. I know sometimes I panic and I take a Hurricane Schwartz in the first round. I know that sometimes
when he dunked on Ben Simmons, you kind of redeemed yourself a little bit.
I know sometimes I overthink it and I try to get cute with a Mike and Mike. But the fact that this remains on the board is deeply personal to me. And I think that it's kind of shocking. Just to give people an idea, here I made a list of wild cards. Here are some that I chose not to go with. Twizzlers was left. I think some people are going to be fighting for Twizzlers. Some people might be upset that Starbursts are gone or are there and will be left on the table. I thought somebody might try to counter-program the Crunch Bar with the Crackle Bar. That did not happen.
Yeah.
And I love, and I was very close to drafting earlier, Swedish Fish. But with the final pick, I'm going to go with a bar that I believe has gotten a lot more love as of late. And it's not something that you jump to as a kid, but it's certainly something that you jump to when you get a little bit older and you can appreciate candy for what it is. It's a bar that originally was released as a Hershey product and is now part of the Reese's family. And that is none other than the Take 5 bar.
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah,
that
was kind of, the rest of your draft was a little bit iffy, but that was like a Jordan Mailata selection right there, I think. Take 5.
I have to say, like, as a kid, I don't think this was around. I believe, if I remember correctly, Take 5 didn't come out until like 2004.
Yeah,
it came out when I was in high school.
Yeah,
it came out, and
now nobody took like just the regular Hershey bar, did they?
No.
No, we didn't take that.
I would have if Butterfinger had not been on the board. The standard Hershey bar, which is not only excellent by itself, but is the end-all, be-all of s'mores making bars.
Oh, that is true.
My selection.
That's the best place for the Hershey's bar.
I thought Payday might go off the board too.
Yeah.
Nobody took Payday. Right?
I thought someone would pick Airheads. Airheads was when I thought about taking for the wild card, but
honestly,
I think we did okay.
This might have been a time where only having 4 people in, we got to have a pretty loaded draft. There wasn't that chance of many reaches. Maybe if we'd gone another wild card round, we could have gotten into some exotic stuff. I wonder if somebody would have considered taking cookies and cream if there had been another wild card round, a big popular thing, especially as you're younger. I tried eating one a week ago.
Yeah,
not quite the same, but
well, Three Musketeers too would have been on there. There's always some fucking weirdo who likes coconut and takes Almond Joy.
Yeah,
or like
my cousin
or something. Yeah, so I'm glad none of us did that. But there's no.
You guys have something against the York peppermint patty?
No, that's good.
It doesn't scream Halloween to me. That
You know what I
is-
liked back in the day that I don't even know if they make these anymore. Do they still make Fifth Avenue?
Yeah,
They do
I don't
make
know,
them.
do they?
Yeah, those are.
they still
But
make
now
a Fifth Avenue
you
bar.
can get in that now like there's enough variety in other main stuff that's not really unique anymore. You know.
Mhm.
Are
Yeah.
are we going to trigger anybody for not taking Milk Duds or Whoppers?
I'm
Mm.
sure there's some dude on Twitter who's gonna be like, I can't believe you didn't take this, you know. But my outlier, Coggin, I think will get this, but nobody else will. I was gonna, as a joke for the fifth one, I was gonna go with Abba Zaba
Ooh,
as a half
Abba Zabbas are good,
as a
actually.
half baked reference.
Yes, they are good on their
when
own.
when
They do
Dave
make good
Chappelle
food.
just gets stoned out of his mind and he eats an Abba Zaba that turns into the biggest candy bar in the world.
I thought Coggin was going to take the blow pop just for the obvious joke possibilities, but I guess
Yeah.
decided to leave
I
that
mentioned Dave Chappelle and Ted Nugent in the same podcast. That's
Mm.
two problematic people that I brought up in the same podcast. I don't know if that's
True.
allowed. Yeah.
Bro, Hannah Gadsby.
I'm a little
in there,
bit-
and you got the triumvirate.
I'm a little bit sad that nobody picked Milk Duds. I was going to make the joke about that's what dads have on their chest when there's a baby in the house. Sorry, baby. These don't produce what you want.
You could have
Just
somebody
full of
could have just
disappointment, you know?
done a draft where you just took different Reese's things, right? You could have taken
Mhm.
the Nutrageous. You could have taken the Reese's sticks. You know,
The Reese's sticks
Mhm,
were a good one.
mhm.
That was
Yeah.
that was kind of their no, was that the one
It-
that was the
it was just like a peanut butter
quasi
Kit
Kit
Kat.
Kat thing?
Yeah, it was just like
Hmm.
a peanut butter Kit Kat. It was, again, like there wasn't a ton of variety there, but they have enough stuff in their lineup. Now you go to like Wawa or Sheets or whatever, and you can there's a Reese's section that has like 10 different things in it now. So,
Yeah.
but all told, I
Listen,
think
guys, I think we
everybody
did a
did
good job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I think this is totally fine.
yeah. All right, good.
So let's go over the picks one more time. Do you guys have your picks in front of you? Do you want me to read them off?
I
You
got
read
him.
'em.
All right, go ahead. Kevin, sorry, Coggin had the first pick. So Coggin, go over your list with the people one more time.
All right, let's see if I can remember. Reese's, number 1. Milky Way, number 2. Airheads, number 3. 4 Skittles.
You did not take Airheads. You took Nerds.
No, I'm sorry, Nerds. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have it.
Nerds.
I'm
That's
thinking
okay.
about Airheads now. I want an Airhead. And then 5 was the whatchamacallit bar.
That's what we get for letting Coggin have an edible before this podcast.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
I'd be asleep. I wouldn't be doing this stupid podcast.
My picks were as follows, very personal to me. Peanut butter Snickers patty. If you've not had it, go find it. After that, we went straight chalk. We took the Sour Patch Kids early for the versatility. We took the Tootsie Pop because it's long lasting and delicious. We took the 100 Grand Bar because it's an improvement over the Nestle Crunch. And we took the Butterfinger because it was clearly the best candy left on the board in the 5th round.
Well, listen, I'm on Pro Football Focus right now, and they just looked at the All 22 film, and they gave me a 97% for my draft. With the first selection, I went Kit Kat. Then I took regular Snickers because Russ didn't for whatever reason. Reese's Pieces fulfills the requirement of having a multi-piece candy, and then my fruity candy is Mike and Ike. And then as a wild card, we went with Baby Ruth, which I agree. I agree with Pro Football Focus. It was the best draft by far.
I don't know how you say that, knowing that I came after you and I had perhaps the best draft on the board, but we'll go there. Of course, Twix was the first round pick. M&ms were the second pick. Crunch Bar in the 3rd round. Haribo Gummies, perhaps the highest quality candy on this list, at the 4th round pick. And then, of course, the underrated Take 5. I mean, you can just taste the pretzels and the peanut butter and the peanuts and the caramel. You can taste it. And listen, the best part of the Take 5 bar, just to add further value to the wild card round, that's the bar that the kids pass over. And, it's a great thing. By the way, we need to have this discussion really quickly. What is the appropriate cutoff age for trick-or-treaters? Because Kevin and I disagree, but I want to get Phil and Cog in here really quick before Kevin and I go to war. What is the appropriate cutoff age for trick-or-treaters? Cog, start with you.
All right. I will preface this by saying you have to wear a costume. If you're not wearing a costume, get the fuck out. And also, if you don't say, my biggest, one of the best things I like to do on Halloween is if they don't say trick or treat, if any kid doesn't say trick or treat, I make them say it before giving them candy. Notice this: kids don't say trick or treat anymore. They just come up and they knock on your door and they kind of look at you. They have to say trick or treat to
Yeah,
get
it's
candy.
weird because they don't know
Mhm.
how to communicate anymore. They're used to like texting their friends and stuff like that. They're staring at you like a fucking weirdo. It's like, dude, hello,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Does
Mm-hmm.
Happy
What do you
Halloween
say?
count for little kids? Do we let that
Yeah,
pass?
well, yeah,
Or do you
sure.
like
Sure.
kind of get them back into shape? Go back out to the start of the driveway and you walk back up here and you say trick or treat.
Yeah, turn around and try that again.
I would
Phil,
say
sorry, go ahead, Cog.
no. I would just say, and this may be skewing old, but I would say if you're willing to do it in high school and you have a costume, I'll take anyone in high school that's still in the Halloween spirit, that still wants to hold on to a piece of their childhood, that wants trick or treat. I'll give you candy. If you show up in jeans and a t-shirt, I'm kicking you right in the chest and you're going down my stairs. But if you come up in a costume and you still are actually still in the Halloween spirit, then fine. Anything older than high school, you're just a weirdo.
Phil.
You're asking me what the proper age or the cutoff age for trick or treating is?
Yes.
If you have an excellent Andy Reid costume and are willing to go it alone, I think 50 is a good number.
There you go. Perfect.
Kevin.
Well, the question was repeat the actual question itself. How old is too old for trick or treating?
How old is too old for trick or treating? Like, what's the cutoff?
Well, I mean, I would say high school up until the end of high school. When you graduate from high school, you can't go trick or treating anymore unless you're with your kids, or somebody under the age of 18. I got no problem with it, but adults coming around is weird. I don't know. Like I'm
Who
more
the hell
the thing.
has an adult trick or treating door to door? That's
Well, yeah. Well, that's
you
there
call
you
the
go.
police at that point, Kev.
Well,
That's,
right. No, but like sometimes they'll mix and match with like younger kids or whatever. If there's like a kid who there's kids who used to come around our neighborhood that like graduated from high school, but their little brother was still in high school or something. They'd come around too, and I'd be like, yeah, I think we got to cut it off here. But I don't have any problem with it. I mean, like all you gotta do is dress up and you get free shit. So it's the best holiday ever. So you don't have to act like yourself either. So
I don't know who won this draft. I'm sure we'll find out later, but I'm certainly hopeful that I won best costume because I think it was me with best costume and then tied for second with three of you, which was COVID work from home guy doing the same costume
that was good.
all at the same time.
Middle-aged father.
Listen, I just have to say before we leave here, as the only person who's worked in education, 16 is the cutoff. I'll be generous and allow for freshmen and maybe even sophomores to go trick-or-treating. But when you're an upperclassman, there are a lot of things that you are able to do, including driving a car and getting a job. And if you can do either of those two things, you don't need free handouts of candy. Now, if you're taking a younger sibling trick-or-treating, good on you. You don't get candy, but good on you for being a good sibling. But if you're old enough to drive or you're old enough to get a job, no candy for you. You can drive yourself to Wawa, go get a bar. You can drive yourself up to Costco, use your parents' membership, and go buy yourself a giant bag. That's it. There is no, if you're 18 years old and you're looking for a free handout of candy, I'll tell you what you got. You got problems, all right? Go find something else to do. Go take a younger sibling. You don't get the candy. Underclassmen only until you can drive. Then drive yourself to the store. It's pretty simple.
And Russ has spoken.
Right. The end.
The end.
That's where we are. Big thank you to everybody, as always, for checking in on Dumb Drafts. Of course, we're available everywhere you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. We're everywhere. You have some other obscure podcast app you want to use, you can find us there. You can find the video of this episode over on the Crossing Broad channel. At least by Halloween, it'll be up. So if you go look over on Crossing Broad and you don't find it, don't worry. It'll be up there. But the videos of these episodes are available over on the Crossing Broad YouTube channel, youtube.com/crossingbroad. You can find them there. A big thank you, as always, to our video guy, Craig, for getting those up and uploaded to the YouTube channel. So for Phil, you can find on Twitter at Phil Keidel. That's Keidel. It's not hard to spell. It's Phil Keidel. For Coggin, at Coggin Toboggan. For Kevin, at Kevin_Kincaid. I'm Russ, at Julian Broad. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what we got wrong. And more importantly, let us know what we should draft next. You can find us over on Twitter at DumbDrafts. And you can also email us, dumbdrafts@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again soon.